For fuck's sake. Hello, everyone. My name is Nick Marinelli, and I'm the Executive Director of MAGFest. This is the monthly Fireside Chat. And don't fucking tell me that we're echoing. I'm gonna fucking kill somebody. Alright, did I kill the echo? Are we better now? I don't know how I always forget that. It's always the worst. Anyway. I'm Nick Marinelli, the Executive... Are you kidding me? Executive Director, MAGFest Inc. Although you wouldn't think I'd be if I can't run a goddamn stream. How many times have I done this? So this is the monthly Fireside Chat. It's supposed to be monthly. I guess the last time was January 31st. Close enough. The monthly Fireside Chat is where I talk about the goings-ons in the MAGFest organization, things going on in the office, with like nonprofit level things, and also recent events and upcoming events, anything interesting going on. So let's, lost my notes there. As always, please ask any questions you have. It doesn't matter how hard hitting or inflammatory. If you feel it's a question that needs to be answered, it's my duty to answer it for you. You can ask a silly question if you want. I can't guarantee I'll answer that. And while I'm getting ready here, let me also make sure I have those Fireside Chat questions open. There we are. And I will answer those at the end. Please ask questions using this form and not through the stream chat. It's a little bit tough for me to just check the stream chat as it goes. I'll try to at the end, but yeah, if you have a question you want answered, please use this form. And if you ever want to talk to me one-on-one, use this to book a time with me. It syncs up with my Google Calendar for the most part. So if you just click on it, it shows you all the hours I'm available. Anybody at all can book a time with me. It doesn't matter if you're board directors, an event leader, or someone who only volunteers at the event, or even just an attendee for that matter. If you want to talk to me, please use the Calendly to do so. At the end of the stream, after I answer questions, I'll send a Google Meet link to. It's basically Hangouts, a video chat, and people can hop in and we can all shoot the shit about nothing in particular if you have any follow-up questions. So jumping into it, let's talk about what has happened recently since the last chat. CatsaCon happened. That's our first promo event of the year. Shout out to our promo team of Eric, Silver, Kevin, Angelo, and Donnelly for going out there. My apologies if I missed anybody there. There's not a whole lot to promote at CatsaCon. We never really even have flyers by that time. So they're troopers for going down to National Harbor a mere few weeks after MAGFest to go back into the belly of the beast. A couple weeks ago was VGMCon, Video Game Music Convention, out in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's run by an organization called Gamers Rhapsody. the event used to be called Gamers Rhapsody, but they've changed their brand so that Gamers Rhapsody is the overall organization, and then they run events like VGM Con. So it's similar to us in that manner. We have MAGFest Inc. and then MagStock and Super MagWest and all of that. We've partnered with them in the past to run a Game Over event out there in Minneapolis, and apparently it went quite well. So it's cool to see the VGM scene growing out there. Dak and I, Dak, our communications director, went out to VGM Con, and also there was a lot of the Jam Clinic crew. Eder, Maria, Jess, and Mark. They were running the jam space there, which I didn't know until I got a newsletter about it that they were going. So it was a cool surprise to see that they were going out there, and we got to hang out with them over the weekend, and there was just a lot of great people that you don't necessarily see at MAGFest because they're in Minnesota. But the One-Ups were there, and some great bands. It's a small event, only about 300 people, though that is a record for them, and it was a jump over last year. And it's solidly run. I'm impressed with how smoothly things run, and it's got potential to really help build the community out there in the Midwest, and I definitely want to work on them with more projects. So that's some of the events that have happened in the past since the last Fireside Chat. If you excuse me, I'm going to get a tissue so I don't have to keep sniffing the whole time. Sorry about that. Well, now that I've talked about the events that have passed since the last Fireside Chat, I'll tell you about the. Let me just do a quick sanity check. Okay, tell you about some of the exciting, to me, not exciting to anybody else in the world, stuff that's been going on in the office. We have a new HR manager. I had been talking about potentially bundling the volunteer manager position with the office HR person, but people made a pretty good case that would be a bad idea and way too much load. So we decided to avoid that. So we got a new HR consultant. Her name is Tracy. She's highly recommended by Bunny. I don't know if you know Bunny, but she's a MAG veteran, the head of consoles, and as of fairly recently, MAGFest's general legal counsel. So thank you, Bunny, for that. We've had gaps in various office processes for a long time, and we're finally getting them plugged up. Stuff that we would do just by feeling around, or we're always very disorganized with. Like the onboarding process and documentation and handbooks associated with that, benefits management, performance management, compensation management, for fuck's sake, and of course traditional HR complaints, which are always a pain in the ass to handle. Having an HR person is nice, but one of the most important things is hiring. The hiring process sucked a lot of time for us. It would take us on average like 3 months to hire a single position, because just a very manual process we had, and Tracy's gonna help us use some tools to help collect applications and do screeners and all that, and also help us like build proper more proper job description documents that attract more people. The two immediate part-time positions that we've been talking about, the bookkeeper and the security coordinator, Tracy's looking over, doing like a brief look over the job descriptions, those for us, but since those are going to be very quick hires, we can get those in before that the whole hiring process is restructured. So seeing all the things that are going to be finally taken care of, the process nerd in me is excited for all the consolidated records and standard procedures, being able to log in to see all employee files and W-4s and whatnot, all in one place, instead of having to get a key to go into a filing cabinet in the back room, which is, it's like, it doesn't sound terribly exciting, but it makes the processes so much smoother in the office, and that is just a rippling effect felt down everywhere. And what's great is that Tracy is replacing some other consultants we had that were trying to help us with these things, and those consultants were not very good. I don't know if they knew what the H stood for in HR, as everything they did was very geared towards compliance and legality, and didn't really consider how HR is not just checkboxes, it's helping people be the best that they can be. And I've had pretty good experiences with Tracy so far. And she is remote, and she's consultant. It's part-time, very much part-time, except for a burst in the beginning where she's going to get a lot of our stuff set up. So she'll be doing like ongoing maintenance. But yeah, she's remote, and she'll be coming out to visit the office in the beginning of April to meet all the employees and all that. So I'm excited for that. And speaking of consultants, we've got a new accounting firm, Draper McGinley, based out of Frederick. I met them through the SmashCon, the Super SmashCon people. They recommended them, gave them rave reviews. Through December and January, we had interviewed about like 7-ish accounting firms. 3 of them actually came to MAGFest, and I gave them tours of the event. And at the end of the day, things were close, but I was pretty confident with these people. So give them a shot, go with them, and things don't work out. I got 6 other accounting firms to choose from, but I've got a good feeling about these people. When we were looking for accountants, we were looking for as full service as possible, not just people that submit the taxes, but high level financial processes, and then building those and getting guidance on building those. If you could kind of roughly divide finances into like 3 chunks: bookkeeping, which is the day-to-day nitty-gritty; accounting, which is taking a look at the numbers and how you got there, which is where you submit the taxes; and then you have like the CFO level, which is taking a look at the numbers and seeing what you can do with them. And that firm actually offers all of those services, and we were waffling a long time between getting our own internal bookkeeper, or just using their bookkeeper service. And accounting firms, this is what they do. You just hand off your stuff to them, and they take care of it. So naturally it seemed okay. I'm like, okay, whatever, you all can do our bookkeeping stuff. But then I had one planning meeting with the firm. Just after that, I was like, just looking at the page of notes I typed up, and I'm like, you know what? No, we need someone else in the office to interface with these people, because this is going to be a big mental and time commitment for me. So we decided that we are going to continue hiring a part-time internal bookkeeper, and we're close. I'm following some leads so that I can immediately fill the bookkeeper role, at least temporarily, and we can revisit in the future if we need to resume that search. And I'm scheduling interviews for that right now. For this, I'm going for referrals and research, so we're not throwing this out to the general public. We're trying to get that filled as soon as possible. But the security coordinator position is a different story that we are making sure that people know about and they can apply to. We're hiring a part-time security and public safety coordinator. So this would be the person that would basically be directly overseeing all of our volunteer security groups like Dorsai and Conscious Security. Those people would naturally still have their own heads, their own department heads and such. But this person would be helping them with anything they need and getting them coordinated with all the other groups, such as our currently named public safety department, which we should probably change to like medical or something. The volunteer doctors that get you band-aids and point in the general direction of ibuprofen because they can't actually give it to you directly. The coordinator would also be working with municipal people like the police, fire, EMS, and also with Gaylord Security, kind of getting all those pieces to work together. This person would also be building or at least improving an incident reporting pipeline that starts from the very beginning with exercising crisis counseling principles when taking any report in, because that's a very important thing to make sure that you're fostering a culture that you get reports. People aren't scared to report. So building the process, starting from taking the report to the adjudication process, all the communication to everybody involved, and all the record keeping involved with that, and making sure that anybody needs to be on the watch list is added to the watch list, and then all of that. And sending a lot of not fun emails, but someone's got to do it, I suppose. This person would also be in charge of maintaining and updating the code of conduct, so as people point out things, tweaks, opportunities to change things. This person would be the main point of contact for making sure that happens. Also managing the I don't know if any of you all have gone through like the crowd manager training. But this person would make sure everybody gets that. Well, not everybody, but the people who need to get it. But this person does a lot of things. So when you hear security, like they're not just a bouncer, they're an operational coordinator with a deep understanding of fostering a safe and welcome event culture, and that's really important. And for this position, the hours are gonna fluctuate a lot over the course of the year, because there's obviously gonna be a lot in the beginning as they build all the relationships with all the people they'll be coordinating, as well as making sure all of these processes are in place. And then it'll dip down to maintenance levels as we get random security reports in over the course of the year. And then spike pretty heavily right around events, probably almost like full-time at that point, like in the week or so surrounding the event. Tough to say at the moment, but what was I thinking? Yeah, and we, if possible, we'd like them to basically be at every major MAGFest event. I want to get that job posting circulated no later than tomorrow morning. I've been this close to knocking it out and moving on. So yeah, I gotta get that out there. But I also mentioned, I think I skip over something here. Those are the two part-time positions that we're hiring immediately, and then the two next full-time positions are new volunteer manager, since Ashley Nicolette, our former volunteer manager, moved on. We're going to change the name of the position to the Director of Volunteer Infrastructure to help stress to everybody looking at the job description and everybody that interacts with the person that this person interacts with volunteers a lot, but their primary duties are to make sure that the volunteer machine is such a fucking horrible word to say. Make sure the process of volunteering for MAGFest is easy, it's consistent, and a good staff culture is maintained. So making lots of policies, making sure those policies are followed. Coordinating the departments in the staff services division, so still with stops and the hotels and the staff suite and tea room and all of that, making sure that as much as possible these things are running sustainably with people that enjoy what they're doing and not getting burnt out. And even though we have the HR consultants, we've been thinking that having HR experience will be good for this kind of thing, because if they experience writing policies, HR policies, I think they'd naturally have an inclination for this kind of thing. And beyond that is a project manager. Since Deborah has been helping out in so many other areas, it's clear that she's doing so great in all these other places. We need someone else to do the project management portion. I don't have a whole lot of info on that at the moment, other than that it's the next priority, right behind the director of volunteer infrastructure, and that the hiring we did over the past couple of years was very much like we want a generalist who can do these things. We still want smart journalists, but not averse to looking for people with specific certifications in project management and that kind of thing. Open to feedback on that, and I'm sure our HR consultant will have input on that as well. Beyond that, we're thinking about what other positions we're hiring, including VP level positions, to get stuff off my plate, so that I can do more things that an executive director is supposed to do. Normally, executive directors don't position signs. I like doing it. You can't stop me. Well, sometimes you have to. But making everything more self-sustaining. I was actually really impressed with Super Mag. Happened pretty smooth this year, with me having just a very light touch on things, and so I can see it getting better. But I don't want to lose sight of like if I'm getting lost like a 10,000 foot view here. It's like, no, things aren't that good, Nick. What are you doing? What are you doing? Please don't let that slide by me, and make sure to talk to me about it. And we've been working with the board to see what's best for the executive director. If things are taken off me versus like what I'm best at, and seeing. Just making sure that we don't get caught in the infinite operational loop of making everything efficient and just focusing on efficiency, and then losing sight of building culture and expanding the community, so that other places around the world can benefit from MAGFest in the way that the Mid-Atlantic does. So yes, speaking of other places besides the Mid-Atlantic, let's talk about the calendar and events that mostly happen in the Mid-Atlantic. MagStack, the dates for that are set is June 6th through 9th. That is in Louisa, Virginia. That's Central Virginia, just between like Charlottesville and Richmond, like a half hour apiece. Mark Mernan is the main event lead for that, but he's brought on a new event lead to help him. Tim Keinsbauer. He's a spicy nacho on Slack. So everybody say hi, Tim. Congratulations. We also have BitGen GamerFest coming up July 27th in Baltimore. That's if you basically took all of MAGFest, Super MAGFest concerts and crammed them into one day in one bar and club, bursting at the seams with like 300, 400, 500 people. That's BitGen. MAGWest dates were finalized and announced. That's September 13th through 15th out there in San Jose. We have a new venue. We're no longer at the DoubleTree. So we're now at the DoubleTree. We're no longer at the Hyatt Regency Santa Clara. The DoubleTree is 15 minutes away from where the Hyatt Regency was. It's right next to the airport. I don't know if I could. One could probably sprint from the airport to the DoubleTree in 4 minutes or something. It's right there. And that stuff is underway. It's planned. It's being planned. It's going. Jess McCormick, Scott Montgomery, and Ben Tristan are the event leads, and getting close support from Deborah and Dak in the office. Speaking of Dak's out there right now doing promo and biz dev, as well as teaching people out there to do promo and biz dev. So if those things interest you, you should ping Dak on Slack, DAC, or just hop in the MAGWest channel and ping him. Deborah and I are going to be out there next week, along with Dom and Heather from Super Mag Guests, to go to GDC. GDC is it's more industry than we like, but it's a good opportunity to meet a lot of people and find new opportunities for MAGFest, and a lot of cool things we can do to not just like expand to new opportunities, but also help with what we're doing now. One of the fun things is we get to be involved with the Game Audio Network Guild Awards. We get to present the People's Choice Award. You might have seen us sending out a poll for that. It was fun. Beyond that, the research team from Mag Labs has got some cool stuff going on. Mag Labs is no longer just a singular large event in the fall. The research team is turning Mag Labs into a traveling makerspace spirit that can be brought to different events. With one coming up, TCon, May 10th at the Washington D.C. Convention Center. It's an event about T-shirts on the surface, but deeper. It's an event about entrepreneurs trying to manufacture their own clothing lines, that kind of thing. And so the whole maker idea of Mag Labs really fits that well. And that's one event they know they're doing, and then they've got other stuff on the horizon. We're working with other maker spaces and educational organizations to see if they can bring this Mag Labs maker space. Like the MAGFest laboratory is now something that any event can have, which is pretty goddamn cool. Rewinding a bit, I was talking about accounting stuff, and I jumped over some things about the process nerd Nick. For the first time in ever, I can see on the horizon us having really good punctual, accurate, and granular spending information, which should really help get budgets out to people a lot faster in the long term, and also make the budgeting process much more consistent. We're going to try to put in more of a process to actually doing budgets, rather than someone asking me, "Hey Nick, can I get another $200 for my budget?" I'm like, sure. Okay, cool. Can I get another like $3,000 for the budget? I don't. Maybe. Fine. Just don't bother me. actually getting plans together so that the people don't have to scramble with unknown budgets, and have predictable long-term plans. Have like a web portal where you can actually go and log in and see how much you've spent on your department's budget. Not having to go and plan your following year's budget, only going by the estimates of what you thought you spent last year. And so dipping into that is going to feel a little stiff to begin with. It's going to be like, oh well, why do I have to do a budget proposal now? And that's not to say I don't know if you're gonna have to do a budget proposal. I don't know what the process looks like, which is why we hired accountants, because they're a lot better at this than we are. But they'll help us with that long-term planning. Yeah, and if you got questions about like the accounting and finance budgeting stuff, like please ask. Like for example, like I talked to Arcade. Actually, backing up a bit, at Super MagCon, a lot of departments had came up to me and asked for budgeting requests, and starting to be more finance minded. Like, okay, like I can't just keep saying, all right, whatever every year, because there's no track of history, nor is there a comparison against reality. So I started asking people, all right, look, give me a 3-year budget plan. Like, what do you think you're going to get this year? What do you think you're going to get next year? What do you think you're going to get the year after that? And when I see the 3-year budget plan, then I'm a lot more likely to be willing to give more up front, because I know that much more isn't going to come following years, which I've seen, where I tell departments okay, you get a 1-year big infrastructure boost in your budget this year. They're like, okay, great, thanks. And then they ask for it again next year. They're like, we really need it. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, so our arcade department was trying to get stuff moving along, and they really want to get arcade repairs going. It was like, good, great. And so, like, can we get money up front? I'm like, all right, give me a plan for the year. I'll give you some cash up front, that, like, I know, like, regardless of anything, cool with you all spending this. And then, like, while you're burning through that, put together a proposal. And then when they burned through that and it came time to get more, they had asked. They'd asked them, like, well, where's that proposal? And they not unjustifiably say, well, why do we have to give a proposal? We've never done it before. Do other departments have to do this? It seems this may be unfair. They weren't complaining; they're legitimately asking, like, what's going on? It's different. Why? And so, yeah, the answer is to be more consistent everywhere. It just makes it so much easier. Oh God. Yeah, please ask questions about that. The only other thing I had was MagCon. MagCon is not going to be at the Gaylord. Spring MagCon is not going to be at the Gaylord this year. The only dates that the Gaylord was, we weren't able to get workable dates at the Gaylord, and so we're like, we'd rather just do it somewhere else than do it at like at the beginning of April, because, like, we're not going to be ready by then. So Colette's getting us some quotes from other hotels, and there's some stuff just in the DC area as easy access to the Gaylord or easier. It's looking to be in mid or beginning of May, and as soon as we confirm that, get word out about it, and we at least a month notice. I think probably do like 6 weeks. Yeah. Okay. That was all I had. let me go through to see if anybody asked any questions. Pat Burton's got a lot of questions here. Cold guy. He said, I heard CatsCon did the private-public thing for their event and heard it went well. Is this something you think MAGFest would do in the future? That's the Pat's referring to the you can't get in the Gaylord unless you have a Gaylord reservation or have a MAGFest badge, with obvious exceptions for being able to go get your MAGFest badge. It's a cooperative thing between the Gaylord and CatsCon. It's not outside the realm of possibility. We were probably going to do it last year, and then just the coordination with the security forces and budget and all that just fell through. We'll see. We'll see this year. We need to talk to the Gaylord more about that. Pat also asks when the Elephant at the Con report is coming out. If you don't know what that is, Uplift, which is an organization that does sexual assault and sexual harassment awareness and training on how to stop it, and how to counsel people that have gone through trauma. They put out a survey that basically asks, like, how safe did you feel at MAGFest? And they put out the survey this year, and they did it last year as well, and they released the results. They did not get a whole lot of results this year, and we tried pushing them. Sorry, we tried plugging the link to get more results. And I think like the last I heard from them was, thanks for plugging it. Things are trickling in. We'll see. I think to help get more, to get that report out, helping spread that survey would help more. Pat, can you remind me to? I'm gonna write that down, but could you also please ping this safe at magfest.org. Those are the people that that look at harassment reports, and ask them to help plug the Elephant at the Con survey, and then say Nick will tell you more context if needed. Pat asks, I know we have representation at PAX East with Jam Space. Is this going to be continued with PAX West to promote MAGWest? I would sure like it to. DAC went out to PAX West last year to get acquainted with our main PAX contact. The reason we stopped doing, we used to do Jam Space at PAX West. We stopped doing it because they no longer had room in the main building for us. It had to be in a satellite building. And at the time, the format of the room relied very heavily on walk-by traffic. So it wouldn't have worked very well for us to be off the beaten path. Now that we have, the format of the room is much more refined, a lot of scheduled material, brings in people even if it's in far reaches of the venue. Much more comfortable doing it. Haven't had strong, well, no, I mean, because there's been a desire, but I haven't had the people. But some MAGWest staffers based out of Seattle are interested in helping run that. So with any luck, yeah, I'd like to see that. And let me also write that one down as well, just to make sure, because we started laying the groundwork for that. So that would be a big help, especially since MAGWest is not too long after PAX West. All right, we got two more from Pat. Pat says, he heard there's a West Coast trip that took place. Was there anything I could disclose about that? Can you be more specific? I mean, the DAC's out there right now helping train people with promo and biz dev. Promo being like handing out flyers, like recruiting staff, and biz dev being like partnering with organizations for big projects. And then like I said, we're going out there for GDC next week. I'm not sure of any other West Coast trips, but please, if that doesn't answer your question, please ask, be more specific. And last question from none. I lied. There's another question. Any idea on what the election structure will be with the new board of director members? Will it be at MagCon? And what, if anything, will change in the process? The board election, I mostly leave to the board to take care of communication for that kind of thing. I try to focus my efforts on keeping the org running, where the board does board stuff. But as I understand it, I don't think it's changing a whole lot. The board seat that's up for election, it's like a designated up for election seat. So Adam Chase's term is ending, and he can be reelected, but the process is going to go again. If you check out in Slack, I think there's like an election channel or something. That'd probably be a better place to ask questions about that. Yeah, pound. Yeah, I said it, pound election. And like not a lot of traffic has been in there for the past 2 years because we haven't had an election in 2 years. So please feel free to ask. Ivan, the nice floofy office kitty, asks, how will the new HR role affect policies on dismissing paid employees? That's a good question. Even before we had the new HR, we started to try to put in process improvement plans, which have been helping considerably. Actually also started doing weekly lunches with each of the employees, which makes it a whole hell of a lot easier to give feedback, because then like when you're talking with someone one-on-one, it's not just because like, oh, there's something wrong because they're talking one-on-one. It's just a normal thing. So we're just doing the normal process of that conversation. It's just easier to incrementally give each other feedback, which has been helping substantially. I don't know how much that would have helped for other employees, but I'm looking to the future to make sure that the people that do work in the MAGFest office, they enjoy their work and they're performing the best they can, and they have a good relationship with everyone there. And if they have to be let go, it will. And this is differing opinions. I do contend that they're let go in the past, that everything had been tried to prevent that, but with new HR policies, that could make it much more consistent. So that's it doesn't drag on for much longer than it needs to. How does Ivan ask that? Ivan, you're very good, kitty, but if you keep getting dreadlocks, you're gonna get dismissed. Cold Guy Pat asks, any updates on the future team or Tim and Tom's international activities? So for those who don't know, there is The BOD has started to make like some subcommittees and recruiting volunteers on these subcommittees. They call them task force because task force sounds cooler than subcommittee, so I'm told. And particularly since I have, as of late, been so focused with operational stuff, it's I can sometimes lose focus of the longer term stuff. And so the volunteer BOD Future Committee, Pound Future in Slack, those are people that are kind of looking towards longer term projects. With one of them being more culture exchange stuff with Russia. And Tim McNeil and Tom Heyer went out there last year. Yeah, I think it was like last summer or something. Which, man, you got to hear him tell that story because it's fucking crazy. They met a lot of cool people, and MAGFest is apparently legendary over there. I don't know if they have like a formal write up about it. Ask in the future channel on Slack, or also I think BOD-future at magfest.org goes specifically to that group of people. Other than that, there was a future team meeting recently that I did not get a chance to go to. I don't attend all the BOD subcommittee meetings, as they kind of look into things on their own and then tell me when it's ready to go. But I should. It's funny they mention it. Now that we're trying to get more stuff off my plate by hiring more people, I can be more actively involved in that kind of thing, which is why I was very interested in VGM Con. We've been doing Game Over Denver for a few years now, and I'm not saying there's going to be a MAGFest event, like a full MAGFest event in Denver in 3 or even 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 years. I don't know. But it'd be cool to, at least if nothing else, go out there, visit the people out there, and help build the VGM community out there, and if not do MAGFest stuff out there, give them MAGFest the knowledge that we've gained on how to build a community, how to run an event, so that they can do the things that we're able to do, even if we're not personally helping them doing it. But maybe we will. I don't know. That's so far from the future. I don't even can't begin to think about it. But I am talking with them a couple weeks, actually. So that'd be fun. That's the game overs out there have been run by Mike Zucker, who was, oh god, I guess not anymore. He used to be the lead for This Place Is Haunted, which Pete Raines was one of the originals as well. But Mike since broke off. But yeah, Mike's a long MAGFest. Yeah, let me know if you have any more questions about that. The Warehouse Rats ask, what is the trend of security incidents this super compared to years past? Did closer involvement with PGPD make any difference, either good or bad? That's a very good question. I know that, let me see, did Eli would do this thing where he would, Eli's on our board of directors, he would comb through the Dorsai security log, and let's see if I can, and he would basically like categorize each of the items in the log into like alcohol, harassment, assault, or other things, and oh god, I don't think he's had a chance to do it for this year, but like there some interesting things have popped up from it in the past, like, oh, what was it? Like I think, oh right, there was like a lot of I guess it was like vomiting. I guess what it was recorded as, and there was a lot of vomiting, and it's like it could possibly lead one to believe that, like, oh wow, we had a real alcohol problem that year, but actually that was the year that norovirus was going around. So that was an interesting way to analyze that. If I'm remembering right, the interesting thing is that our amount of security incidents of various types is more or less remaining constant despite us growing in size. So relatively shrinking, which is good. Now that's the past trends I have seen. I haven't seen the data this year. And I would also be interested to know if the closer involvement from Prince George's police made any difference. I will say that I was very, very happy with the planning process with PGPD, because some people had brought up some reasonable valid concerns that they don't want the place looking militarized, and they don't want stop and frisks around. But when I called PGPD to organize this all, first thing they said was that they were fans of MAGFest. Like they've heard of us, and then they've worked in the Gaylord, and they're excited to work with us. Secondly, they're very much, yeah, we're here to support you. We can just stand around, look scary, just kind of back you up when you need it. We're not there to bust up the party. So that was reassuring. I'll look at the logs, see if it functionally turned out like that. But at least leading into it sounded promising. Whoever submitted that, if you're comfortable, I know you submitted that anonymously as the warehouse rats. If you're comfortable following up with me personally to help me look into that, just because like I can look into it, but I don't know how to announce it in a way that you'd be able to see it. Sunny, oh, what a good meows. Ask where she's hiding. Where is she? Beams, Bess. Good's nice. Meows and beams. Cutie. Probably upstairs. Probably being good. A happy camper asks, any chance of getting gender-neutral restrooms at Magstock? That's a good question. I'm gonna write that down. And please ask the Magstock people. Hop into the Magstock chat room. Email the Magstock heads. I think magstock@magfest.org works, but also admin@magstock.org works as well. Excuse me. That's a good question. I don't know the answer. I will write it down as something to bring up. But in the meanwhile, please feel free to also ask. Okay. That's the end of the questions so far. I'm going to do a quick scan of the YouTube stream chat, and the Slack chat while I'm looking at that. Get in any last questions you may have. Oh yeah, someone's talking about Mike Zucker's solo stuff. Oh shit! Fuck! I forgot to say that research team. Chris Hybe is stepping back. She had a fun time, but it's too much for her at the moment. But Brittany Rash has joined the research team. So yay! Congrats, Brittany! Everyone say congrats, Brittany. Going back to. All right, so I looked through stream chat, didn't see anything. Looking at Fireside chat. Newsy mentioned something about physical report forms at de-escalation training. And this is going to be an interesting thing, seeing how the Dorsai and the new security coordinator interact because Dwarfside do have kind of like their ways, not their ways, like they handle things at event, but they don't handle things out. Things reported outside of the event, even if it happens at the event, because it's not their job. We don't tell them that they have to be on email to run that process. And if not physical forms for reports, Snoozy, at least a digital paper trail that's not just a Google Doc. Spicy nacho is a superlative descriptor. Okay. $20 to Nugget. Funny story. Nugget now has $0 on his PEX card because he kept asking me for $20. Sorry, Nugget. Okay. EML Holland asked in the stream chat if the super theme has been decided or narrowed down yet. I think it's down to a few choices. The goal was to get it picked within the next 4 weeks, based on our upcoming sprints. Double check with Dak. He's the one tasked with picking that. Okay, I think that about covers it. So I am going to make the Google Meet link. I'm going to start the Google Meet. I'm going to paste the link in the chat, and you can join with either your phone or ordinateur. All right, everyone. Well, this has been absolutely lovely. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all next month. Toodles!